Our neighbors to the north are clearly not happy. And this tariff of 25% is clearly going to be very painful, and they don't like it. There's a chance one of their premiers may have went a little too far, though. Canadian Premier apologizes to Americans for considering cutting energy exports. It's not you, it's your president, who we voted for and won the popular vote. So you're kind of saying it's us. But this is the Premier of Ontario. And I want to let you guys see this so it's in context.
We also need to be ready to dig in for a long fight. We need to be ready to escalate using every tool in our toolkit. That includes surcharges or even outright restrictions on the critical minerals and electricity we supply to the United States. The critical minerals and electricity they depend on. Today, I'm writing to every senator, every congressman and woman, and the governors from New York State, Michigan, and Minnesota.
It is worth noting that the governors of New York State, Michigan, and Minnesota are all very, very left-wing.
Telling them that these tariffs persist. If the Trump administration falls through on any more tariffs, we will immediately apply a 25% surcharge.
A 25% surcharge is to be expected in a trade war. This isn't pleasant, but if you're being tariffed, responding with reciprocal tariffs seems to be the right move if you're the Canadians. However, he kind of steps in it here and makes a huge mistake.
On the electricity we export, we will not hesitate to shut off their power as well.
If you shut off the power and that leads to blackouts in certain areas, hospitals, old folks' homes, places like that, now you're messing with people's lives. Now you're messing with people's lives. And Donald Trump will see it that way. Has no one been paying any attention whatsoever? This isn't business as usual. They're starting to understand that, but I don't think that they get that they're not going to be able to use loose language like that. And that is loose language. You cannot say that you're threatening to cut off the power, because now you are genuinely messing with people's lives. Let's hear it again.
To shut off their power as well.
Donald Trump will see it the same way that anyone else would see it. Okay. Here's my answer. The Pentagon just sent 3,000 troops to the Mexico border to stop immigration. It's the 2nd Brigade Stryker, the 2nd Stryker Brigade of the 4th Infantry Division is now on the Mexican border. If you cut off the power, and there's American lives literally on the line, do you not think that he's going to make sure you turn on that power? By any means in his, as you would say, toolkit? Because our toolkit is a little bit bigger and has far more tools. And those tools are far more capable. I want to bring this back. We need to hear him again because he's being very clear. Words have meaning. And I'm going to do this uninterrupted so you can hear every word he says.
We also need to be ready to dig in for a long fight. We need to be ready to escalate using every tool in our toolkit. That includes surcharges or even outright restrictions on the critical minerals and electricity we supply to the United States, the critical minerals and electricity they depend on. Today, I'm writing to every senator, every congressman and woman, and the governors from New York State, Michigan, and Minnesota, telling them that these tariffs persist. If the Trump administration follows through on any more tariffs, we will immediately apply a 25% surcharge on the electricity we export. We will not hesitate to shut off their power as well. I'm encouraging my fellow premiers to follow suit.
He's encouraging his fellow premiers to follow suit. Well, we'll see if that happens. We'll take it one step at a time. But I can assure you that this is not the Biden administration. That is a direct threat to the lives of Americans if it actually happens. Donald Trump will see it that way. Reciprocal trade tariffs is something that he would have accepted. None of us are happy about this. But going one step too far is something you don't want to do, especially with somebody who's putting troops on one border, cutting off aid to another country that is in the fight of its life. There's a quick way to become the 51st state. That's a good way. I don't mean to play games. It's not a game, and he won't view it as such. And I hope the premier walks back that specific statement. Now, the reciprocal tariffs and surcharges and things like that, to be expected. You have to defend your province. That has to be expected. But you might want to walk back that one part of that statement. It might be really important that you do. You don't want to get his attention. Once you're on his radar, we've seen what happens. So to my Canadian friends, I've been to Canada a few times. Lovely place, lovely people. We'll work it out. It's a squabble amongst neighbors. But let's not make it worse. And a statement like that makes it worse. I appreciate you swinging in and listening. If you liked it, hit like. Maybe even subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell a Canadian friend. Walk it back, eh? That there statement wasn't a good thing to say. You might want to bring that back there.